But anyway, look, purpose of
Right.
today is really to get to know a little bit about you and what you do and everything. So maybe if we can start with your early musical influences. Who first got you hooked into playing the guitar?
Well, so the first time I ever saw Stevie Ray Vaughan was really what got me into playing guitar. I was watching a late night infomercial, and on popped the live in studio Albert King with Stevie Ray Vaughan
Yeah.
live in session. They were
Mm.
trying to sell DVD of that particular session, and I remember just sitting there watching Stevie Ray play with Albert, and I was just amazed at what the guitar could do. And I just remember thinking in my head, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to play that. I want to, want to be him,
Yeah.
so to speak. Like I just emulated him so much. So I think that's really what got me into it. Uh,
And what was it?
I was 9 years old at the time, and
And what was it about Stevie's playing that got you
what you're
hooked
saying?
in? What was it about Stevie's playing that got you hooked in?
Just his tone, just how he seemed to lose himself in the guitar.
Mm.
And I grew up with a lot of like the like things in my past that I was trying to escape from at the time. My depression, and I've had depression issues since I was very young, and so just watching him kind of seem to go into another world when he was
Mm.
playing really intrigued me, and his tones and what he could just do with the guitar itself and as an instrument was just fascinating, and that kind of kick-started it. And I learned my first song I ever learned on guitar was "Sweet Child of Mine,"
All right.
that
Yeah.
little intro
Yeah.
by Guns N' Roses, because I grew up in the same city as the singer and the backup guitarist for that band, the Lafayette, Indiana, where I hail from. So Axl Rose was really big. Um, and Izzy Stradlin grew up down the street from Axl, and so I was really into Guns N' Roses. So, you know, I heard that slash play that, and I wanted to learn how to do it. So I just sat down and taught myself and went from there.
It's funny, isn't it, that you get some guitarists. I mean, mentioned that Stevie was able to lose himself whilst playing, and I kind of refer it to like almost riding a cloud. It's almost like they're riding a cloud that they do lose themselves, and I've often heard a few sort of like professional musicians and stuff and stars and stuff, and they'll describe Eric Clapton, for example. He said that sometimes he'll go into a solo, and after it's happened, he doesn't know what notes he's played or where because he just loses himself,
Yeah,
And I think that in itself is and his ability to do that, to be able to almost disconnect and play the instrument. And I think if you're able to do that, it's I think a lot comes out, doesn't it?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, uh, I remember an interview with Santana where he said the same thing. He went on stage at Woodstock. He was, he doesn't remember anything about Woodstock. I mean, he was high on shrooms at the time, which I don't really prefer to do. But he just said he has no idea what he played. It just came out of him. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
was a religious experience, so to speak.
yeah,
And just to hear players say that, it's always inspired me to,
yeah,
want to be like them for sure.
yeah. And I think that's can often make the difference between guitarists and really great guitarists, to be able to disconnect and ride that cloud and lose yourself. I think that's uh, a lot of the greats are able to do that.
I agree.
So, what sort of music are you listening to today? So, I mean, obviously, Santana, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Slash you've mentioned. Funny, well, I didn't actually get into Guns N' Roses. I mean, I grew up through the 80s and all my friends were into Guns N' Roses, but I was into Eric Clapton, Mark Knopfler and things like that. But now I love Guns N' Roses and I love Slash, you know, but what other sort of music are you listening to today?
See, I listen to a lot of emotional driven and feeling music. So I love listening to blues. And metal. Metal is a huge one for me. I'm a huge metalhead. Just the styles of music I listen to just have a lot of feeling to them and a lot of emotion. And I'm a pretty emotional person myself. So anything, you know, emotional is right up my alley, you know?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I listen to. I listen to a lot of, you know, BB I've been getting into a lot lately, and just Stevie and Gary Moore and artists
Moore.
like that, you know.
What a guitarist Gary Moore was, eh? What he just he was the whole package, wasn't he?
Very, very, very.
Just I was fortunate.
Yes, he was.
I was fortunate enough to see him in Nottingham, which is one of the next cities on from me, and just unbelievable. Just to see the guy there playing, and you know, on his Les Paul, just what an experience.
I just now started getting into Gary Moore.
Yeah,
he slipped under my radar for quite a while, and you know, and I just recently got into his music, and I'm diving in, you know. So
yeah,
he's kind of one of the new artists for me. But
yeah. And you mentioned, well, you actually contacted FX Pedal Planet because you actually saw the interview with Mordi, the autistic guitarist, didn't you? And that was kind of like an instigation into
yes, I did.
And because you wanted to really sort of have a chat about your situation, and because I know you have severe ADHD, and I was, you know, there may be members within the group that are similar and have ADHD. So I was maybe wondered if we could maybe talk about that, and how does ADHD, what challenges does it bring for you as a guitarist, as a musician, but also in the Matty Keyes Project? Because the Matty Keyes Project, you've got like something like 22,000 followers. You know, it's a hell of a following. But how does the condition affect you from day to day?
So right now I'm unmedicated for my ADHD. I have been for quite a while. Well, actually, let me start from the beginning. When I was born, I was born with something called fetal alcohol syndrome, which means I was born addicted to alcohol because my mom, she drank while I was in the womb, and so my frontal lobe, the part that affects memory and other things like that, is undeveloped as a normal adult would be, and it led to a bunch of other side effects like ADHD, a little bit of obsessive compulsive disorder. So I've got a closet list of problems with me, so to speak. And you know, it really affected, I noticed, my ability to just pick up the things I love and do them on a daily basis. I struggled to be able to focus longer than a very, very short period of time. I mean, even in this interview, you know, I'm finding it hard to reel myself in, stay focused in the moment, you know. And it's something that. Yeah, it's something that I struggle with, but you know, everybody has their issues, and
yes,
I just work on mine every day, trying to make it better. In regards to my playing, I have very, very hard time forming memories, as I said. And so, like, I'll practice a riff or something, or whatever I'm learning at the time. And if I don't practice it 25 to 30 times over and over and over again, you know, I'll forget it the next day. So it brings a very, very big challenge to learning. But, you know, it's where my passion lies. I've self-taught myself 4 instruments, and you know, pretty much any instrument that can be in a band. Um, and it's just, you know, when you're passionate about something, especially people with ADHD, they push, you know, that's what the only thing that they can focus on is what they're passionate about.
Yeah. And do you find that because we talked about it with Mordi, sort of obsessive behaviors? I think you mentioned obsessive behaviors earlier. Is that part of the condition, and does that help you in some respects?
Yes. ADHD and OCD go hand in hand a lot of times, not always, but a lot of people with ADHD tend to have OCD as well. Um, and you know, sorry, losing my train of thought there.
It's okay.
This,
Please take
you
your
know,
time. Please take your time.
but when it comes to like playing and stuff, it can be very helpful in regards to like repetition and
Mm.
repeating behaviors, you know, with the obsessive part. And I mean, when I play guitar, I become obsessed with it, you know. So I've definitely become obsessed with the instrument itself and just all elements of it. And it doesn't really help me as much with my playing per se, but it helps me with the passion that I have for it, I guess. But I'll have tics and stuff
Yeah.
uh, like feeling my arms or going like this, just weird little tics that most
Yeah.
people, if I didn't point them out, wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well, I wonder if that, because I mean, obviously, when did you actually start the Matty Keyes Project and your social media page?
I started it last June, a week before my 25th birthday. And it kind
Incredible.
of, yeah, it took off really quickly thanks to Facebook ads. You know, I at first it was supposed to just be like a just to see where this goes kind of thing. Like I didn't think it would gain the audience that it did or anything like that. I wasn't, you know, you always have big dreams, but you know, like I wasn't expecting the response I got from it. And once, you know, the numbers started growing, like I became obsessed with that.
Well,
And, you know, just trying to chase that and what?
well, that was the thing I was going to come on to, because 22,000 followers in such a short space of time is phenomenal. And
Yeah, thank you.
I can only applaud you. I started FX Pedal Planet in August, and we've got 3,000 followers, and that's been a lot of hard work.
Right, right.
So to get your numbers up and your following up to 22,000, I did wonder whether maybe the obsessiveness and the condition had contributed towards that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there was a period of time when like, you know, because a following will go up and down. And that's what I've sort of realized through this whole process. But at the beginning, like if I lost followers, I was just devastated. So I was doing everything in my power to keep those numbers going straight up instead of down. And I realized very early on that you don't get anywhere that the way the algorithm works and Facebook and stuff like that, your videos don't get viewed unless you pay. You know, you have to put in some money to get your viewership up. And that's what I did. You know, I pumped in, I was working at a job at a gas station at the time, and I just put, you know, paid my bills and put the rest of the money, you know, minus some stuff to survive on,
Yeah.
obviously, most of the money into ads and I just watched my video views go way up. You know, I have a video with 225,000 views on it now, you know,
Wow.
and it went viral. And that was like my third video. And when I saw that blow up, I just was like, all right, I've got to keep this going. I have something
Yeah.
going here. People are listening, you know. I've got fans or followers or whatever you want to call them from pretty much every continent on the planet now.
Mm.
And just great to, you know, have people listen. You know, I don't really get paid for my following yet, but hopefully someday it comes to that. If it doesn't, whatever, you know, I just love spreading music that people listen to. So
And well, to ask a stupid question, I'm sure you certainly come across like that. You absolutely love what you're doing and enjoy it. Am I correct?
oh yeah, for sure. 100%. It's literally, I mean, my friends and people around me will all tell you I live and breathe, you know, guitar. It's pretty much all I talk about. And music. It's just what I love to do and where my passions lie. So
Hey, if you enjoy it, Matty, keep doing it. You know, and often the successful things and success comes from a passion. And just keep following it. Keep following it. I was talking to a very well established builder yesterday, called Chris Jupiter, of Jupiter Effects, and
oh, okay.
Chris has he's making some fantastic pedals, and he's really progressing his brand, building his brand, and really making a name for himself. And at the end of the interview, he said, he looked at the camera and he said, follow your dreams. If anybody's listening to this, just follow your dreams, because that's what he did. He followed his dream, and he's doing something that he loves, something that he's passionate about, and he's being successful at it. He's making quite a bit of a name for himself. So you keep following it, following your passion for sure.
That's all I can do, you know. I remember as a kid, I just like they always asked me what I wanted to be. And since I was 9, I was like, you know, rock star, you know. I want to be a rock star. And so it's been there since day one. And I didn't think I'd get as far as I have, but you know, when you put in the work, I mean, I used to play guitar until like 10 hours straight some days. You know, I'd have to wake up the next morning, ice my hand because my fingers were so swollen that, and from bending, you know, because I do a lot of bending, and ice my hand during the morning so that I could play again at night, you know. And just doing that for years, you know, you start to get good at the things. You know, practice makes perfect, and that's what I tell anybody that wants to get into guitar or anything that they're passionate about. So
Yeah, that's true. It is. It's hard work, practice, and for some people it comes natural. I'm not one of those people. You know, my girlfriend's son plays keyboards, and he is one of the most naturally musical people I have ever met. He can hear a song and he can just start playing it on the piano or the keyboards. He's just that talented. I've never been able to do that.
no.
Whatever I can play on the guitar, which isn't a great deal, I've had to work at it.